start with two scientists. They go together at school. They're doing AI. One goes corporate, sells machines to the military. The other creates the first robot capable of empathy through a nonprofit. That robot is like way talked about. He becomes a symbol for like everybody on the internet. It's like, this is the hope, and this is what AI can be great for. Blah blah. They love it. But and he's on TV, he's selling commercials. That technology slowly it matriculates down to the people. You lost an arm, will get equipped with you know like hard knuckle. You know, and you all the products are named after weapons from that kind of thing. And so like you kind of selling people the idea that little by little everybody's becoming a robot. Like we're the robots. And then the other robots, they don't have that, but they're being created under Dr. Wily. Like people are losing their jobs. Everybody works in industrial labor. They're losing their jobs because you got my mans in them are all doing the job for you. And they're all in unemployment. And they're watching these commercials on TV like, oh, you're sick? You got your drunk, lost your liver? Get equipped with Get equipped with this. And get it.
Lawsuits and stuff like that.
Dr. Wily, right, amasses power because he has such control over industry. People have lost their jobs, right? People have, everyone's out of work because of robots. They handle all of the means of production. It's all automated, so people have no way of fighting back again because they can't just stop showing up to work and bombs don't get made, right? So it's all out of their hands. We don't need these people. Everybody can be homeless. Everybody can be poor. There's no need for them. So they're furious because like robots have destroyed them. So you have this movement against them. And then you have wealthier people who are the ones helping design the robots who are mixed about it. We get a little bit of that from like Dr. Wily's team that are working on the robots, and they're feeling like, hey, well, if Mega Man is basically a person, then these are kind of like that. Like this is robot. This is like kind of like the Fallout 4 thing. It's like slavery, right? It's a form of slavery.
Goddamn sense.
And of course they feel that way because they have the luxury of being worried about that. Whereas like most people, though they have no jobs, they're furious and like, why are there robots at all when we don't have robots? You know, like why did we make them then? And it's not we hate them, it's why do they exist when we couldn't take care of ourselves? People start seeing these Mega Man get equipped with becomes a thing. They start mocking the hashtag get unequipped. Like it's going up, and Mega Man becomes unpopular. But at some point, people get angry enough that they riot. Dr. Wily, all the police have been laid off. There's no working class anymore. So they petition Wily, help us, send in, give us something. Do you have a robot that can help? Sends in his people. It's a massacre. People are murdered, like just buzzsaws and just, all of the weapons being used against people. So this creates absolute chaos. So it's warfare through the streets. Mega Man realizes that he's been sold out. The key is Mega Man sees this, and he, being the first robot capable of empathy, feels for what these people are going through. Like, Mega Man is the get-equipped guy. He's almost like there's a shame to it. So he starts being able to take the powers from all of these. So he has to kill some metal men and some elect men or whatever. So he's got all these powers. So now he can do all these things. So now he's fighting his way through, through these riots, because it's all the streets. Like, police robots and enforcement robots, and it's just all Mega Man's shooting all these robots down. He's stealing all of their powers, and he's giving them to the resistance fighters.
I apologize.
And they're taking it, and they're getting equipped with. He's giving the technology away for free. You're equipped with Metal Blade. You're equipped with, Flash Stopper. You're equipped with quick beams, and you have people who are able to just run around and throw boomerangs, cut people's heads off. And you got people pulling up these air cannons and blowing these robots into the wall. So people are now getting equipped with these powers just like Mega Man did. And he climbs up this mansion, this giant thing with the skull that's built into the mountain on top of the thing, and he gets there, and he can't kill Wily because it turns out it's in his programming. He can't do it. But no one told him he has to close the gate behind him.
we start off and we got the Planeteers, and it's the Planeteers that we knew as teenagers, the ones who saved the world. They fought all these villains, they've locked them away, whatever. That whole saga is done. They've got pollution down to 0. They said they were going to do it. They fucking did it. Ozone, perfect. Ocean, see through every part of the ocean, clean. Fucking dolphins are swimming through Venice now. They love it. All right, all parts of the world perfectly clean. We're in this harmony. So what usage do the Planeteers have? Well, they still have access to all their ring powers. They can still do things with their rings, and there hasn't been a need for Captain Planet in a really long time. So over time, they go to college, they're learning. They go into industry, so they've learned a little bit, and they've grown in their industries, and they've become, really well established in their industry.
Sure.
They're not bad guys. They're really good. Hey, I own a giant construction company, a mining company. We're mining in Africa, whatever, but it's like humane way of doing it. We're not down in caves with pickaxes anymore. We got these giant machinery, and everyone's educated and has jobs, whatever. All of it we got. We're not driving gas powered cars anymore. We're driving electric cars. Right, so with the environment's a lot cleaner, but I'm making billions of dollars. We're still driving. People are getting where they need to go, but we're there. You got war never changes, right? So we're still gonna have to have arms dealers, right. But we're not having arms dealers in the way where we're sneaking weapons overseas anymore. We're not like using the kind of labor that is needed to make these weapons and stuff anymore. We have Linka who's manufacturing safer ways of war. And you got Wheeler in America who he's gone to school probably in somewhere in New England where he's gotten in touch with, let's just say, the Kennedys, right, where he's starting to learn the ways of how the political world works, and he's like, I can really use my ability to stop womanizing and start doing some good in this world. So he starts doing some good, and he's starting to, he runs for a local election, he wins, he becomes a state representative of New York, in probably Brooklyn, and so then he's getting a name, he's on TV, he's becomes the mayor of New York City or some shit. He's on the grandest stage of them all. He's running up against a former foe, McGreedy.
Yeah.
He's really preaching. He's like, hey, we're doing a lot of good work in America. Well, over in Montana, we have really good farms, eco-friendly, the free range, everything. We're doing great stuff here. We don't need anything overseas. He grew up with people from China who's building cars. We don't need that. We need America. We could do it all here. We could manufacture all of our own shit here. He's got people behind him.
Yeah,
so all right,
he got everything.
He's got everything. And so then, so what happens? Wheeler loses his election in a landslide, and then he calls Kwame on the phone. He's like, bro, thought you had me, right? And so he's really down on his luck. Maybe he's hitting the bottle a little bit. I would too. Mati hits him up, and he's like, hey man, and they haven't seen each other in a while, and Wheeler's like, you're like a terrorist. You're not supposed to. He's like, we stopped talking for a reason. And then so like maybe from the shadows, fucking Captain Planet, and just a dude walks out and is like, hey, it's been a while, and he's like, God, Captain, and he's wiping the fucking booze out of his eyes.
Yeah, he looks like shit.
Yeah, he looks like shit, and so he's like,
he's all rusty.
Yeah, he's been oxidized.
Yeah,
and so he's like, hey, we need you. He's like, there's like a plague happening, and Wheeler's like, what the fuck does that got to do with me? And he's like, we think he's back. We think he's back.
Yeah,
we're going to Rwanda, and so they like. We fast forward. We fly over to Africa, and we're talking to Kwame, and he's like, he's dressed really, really well. And you're looking at this mass empire. He's actually doing it.
Yeah.
He's built he's got a safe mining operation going here. We're still getting all the resources that we need. People aren't dying. People are fed. The country, the nation is. The continent has been kind of unified. Like, there's a lot of good happening here. Like, he's doing some good shit. Maybe Kwame has actually bled dry. There's nothing left to mine. And so then these guys show up, and it's Mati and Captain Planet, and they're like, oh, Cap. And he's like, hey, Kwame, you've been doing some good. You've been doing some bad, but you've been doing some good type shit. And he's like, when was the last time you talked to Guy? Oh, is she still in Beijing or something? She's trying to do a deal, lithium mining. She's got cars that run on lithium batteries. Maybe they've had a little bit of a hookup here and there. I'm spitballing. I'm adding shit as I go. we got them, and they're like, she's like, I overheard what you guys were saying. They're like, is it true? And they're like, there's a lot of people in Eastern China that are sick right now. And she's like, I heard. He's back. And so they're like, all right, we gotta go talk to Linka.
Yeah.
They're like, all right. They fly out to Linka, and she's like
hard to get to, man.
Well, yeah, they're running here, they're going there, they're going to Estonia, they're going to Lithuania, they're in Belarus, they're all over. They're like, where the fuck is Linka? But they finally catch up to her. They finally catch up to Linka, and they're like, hey, there's a lot of people sick. The same thing they've been saying to get everybody else on board. He's back. And she's like, I know. And they're like,
get in the van.
Yeah, let's go. Nerd,
yeah.
we're going shopping. And then she's like, oh no. Like, I know he's back. I know people are sick. And I think you know my industry. And she's like, and I've made more money than God. I've made more money than all of you. And I'm extremely successful in everything I'm doing. And nothing had to do with him. And she like points straight through that. She's like, I'm a solution maker. The world's got a problem. I'm a problem solver. And then, maybe she lifts up her hands, and from behind her, fucking Captain Pollution, and he says some shit like, the power is mine. And then, right? And so then, they Captain, goes up, and he's at 75%.
He's like, give me them rings.
Yep. Well, just point that shit at me. So they point it at him, whatever.
Yeah.
He gets the boost, the juice, whatever. And they start to have the little scuffle. And so they're trying to wrestle it off of her, and it's not happening, whatever. But, we after this big battle, like, Captain Pollution, he gets Captain Planet to the ground. He's fucking knocked out. She's still standing strong. They can't get to her. There's a big hurricane blowing at them, and they're falling. Captain, oh my God, Captain. But Captain, please get up. We need you. I need you. And he's like, I can't do it without her. And then he like looks over at a young child that was their age when, he's like about to die, and he just looks at her and he's like, yours. And like his last breath, right? And the ring comes off of Linka's finger and appears on hers, and she just looks at it, and she looks at him, and she looks at Linka, and Linka's like, no! She hits the wind onto Captain Planet, pushes Linka back. Captain Planet fucking surges. Once again, a whirlwind all around him because he's got this new wind power.
Yeah.
Young blood. He's got this young blood on him now, right? Strong.
Shaking off
wind.
the rust.
Yep. You would blew the rust right off.
Yeah, definitely.
Fucking and you can see the worry in Captain Pollution's face now, and you can see that Linka's like, oh fuck. So these dudes start beating the shit out of her, maybe, and then up in the sky they're fighting whatever, and they finally take Pollution down to zero.
He's trying to get brolic looking polished.
So they take Pollution down to zero. All of them, have come to terms with the bad shit they've done with the world, but the good that they've done with it as well. All industry is destroyed because of this plague that she has caused. No one's driving anymore. The lithium mines have dried up. In the end, it's Mati who's the one who's letting them know, hey, at the beginning of the day, before we had technology, before we had missiles and guns and fucking all this shit, we had heart. We had each other. We relied on each other, and we built this world together, and we broke it down together. And what we're gonna have to do, and they look over, and there's a dude who's just like picking up scrap metal off of the ground. He's like, we'll rebuild it together again because the power is ours.
Yeah. So we've got this show based on Family Matters. It is still called Family Matters. And it's about this man, Carl Winslow. He is a black cop in Chirac. And he goes out of his way to be able to provide his family a better kind of life. And that includes cloning Steve Urkel, his zany neighbor friend. And he clones him in all different kinds of ways while he's running his mob business. He is a real family leader if there ever was one. And he sets up a whole criminal enterprise. And that's creating a real rift with his daughter who went to law school. Laura, the law student, wanted to go and make the world a better place. And she started realizing that family isn't exactly mean to her father what it means to her, and that creates a real rift. And Steve, who's allowing all this stuff to happen out of just like comedic value, starts having an issue because now Laura's trying to like come through and be a little moral about the situation. So she's able to control Steve with her love or the lack thereof. And she's able to manipulate him in different ways, and he doesn't know what's more important to him, pleasing the woman that he would do anything for, literally anything for, or the man that he is so desperate to get his attention as a father figure. And then you got Eddie Winslow. He's daddy's boy. He want to be just like his dad. He'll blindly do whatever his dad says. It doesn't matter if there's a moral conundrum or not. So they got all of this stuff going down. And every episode, though, is not about the mob. It's not about Laura specifically. It's about Steve Urkel and the Urkels that they made. And they go in this time machine to all different wacky-ass places, and zany shit happens. It all has a theme of the type of energy and comedy that are put into each episode. They seem to be wildly different, but it's kind of like the same pizza, but there's a slightly different flavor, made on a different day, so to speak. We still got half-an-hour episodes. We pack it in at the end of every episode. All the Urkels get wiped. You got to start over every single time. What happens to the Urkels? You're gonna have to stick around for season 2 to find out.
We open with a breaking news segment. Billionaire C.W. Johnson. He hasn't given an interview since oil was still dinosaurs, and they ask him, when we were talking about movies in America, what movie best represents when America is really great? And he falls asleep and he's snoring, and they shake him, and he's just, I hate being woke. I refuse to be woke. So he says 1974, and as he wakes up in a fit, what movie came out in '74? Blazing Saddles. That was back when actors knew their place. If you know what I mean. And so he says, in fact, that's what I want to see. I want to see Blazing Saddles again today. He's going to make a remake of Blazing Saddles. So now it has to happen. The President of the United States gets on his Twitter or whatever. I want to see Blazing Saddles remade. I think it's going to be great. It's back when America was good. And now everybody has to do it. So, dude, what do you
have? There should be a mad race to make it. Everybody's got to be pitching to it, right?
There we
go. Oh, there's money! Yeah. There's gold in them hills!
I know what it is.
Right.
Continue.
Cut to, it is a courtroom. And it's Billie Eilish, and she's there for a DUI, and there's all these photographers everywhere.
We sentence you to Hollywood.
Yeah. Right.
Actually, yeah.
For not for the DUI, for stealing land. For stealing.
You can give your land back, or you can do this.
You bought it for some rich guy. We didn't care when he owned it, but you do.
But you do.
And, yeah, she tries to pretend she's 1/16 Cherokee, and they're just like, the fuck out of here. But they say you got to do some community service that works for the marginalized community.
Yeah.
And she says, and her agent has helpfully volunteered. Actually, there's a movie being made that is all about the black experience. It's a satire. We cut then to a meeting, and it's President Barack Obama playing himself. They want to use your likeness for this. They want to call it Barackin Saddles. A drone just blows the guy up. But then another lawyer comes in, and they're like, all right, fine. Like, how much money is in it? And we cut to Damon Wayans, asleep on top of a pyramid. He owes the state of Israel like $40 million for this pyramid that they seized as stolen land. And he's trying to pay off the pyramid because it's like a rent-to-own kind of situation. So his phone rings, and it's his agent saying, we want you, you know how you wanted to do another movie? He goes, no, I'm asleep on my pyramid. And he's like, yeah, but it's not your pyramid because the bank owns it. And he's like, I'm not doing it. He hangs up. So he picks up the phone, he hangs up, another phone call to another debt collector. Finally, it's his agent again. He goes, I fucking get it. And so he shows up on the set, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. And he meets his co-star, Miss Billie Eilish. And she is there, she's like, she's got to do her best, because otherwise this is her 8th DUI, right? She's going to jail. And she's doing her community service. And he's like, community service for this? This is what now? And so he's just trying to get fired. He goes, look, you do what you want, but I ain't serving you or your community. And
right.
he just wants to break his contract so he wants them to fire him.
Yeah.
He can't quit or he gets nothing. This whole script is stupid. Every time they're on set, it's like a whole different genre, a whole different thing. He's wearing a more ridiculous costume every time we see him. Yeah. And so like he goes on, he does that, and everyone's just, and he's like, I did it. I fucking did. They're gonna fire me.
Yeah.
And everybody starts slow clapping. And they're like, you're so brave. We could never be as brave as you are. But he looks around, and the only person he sees who's also confused is his co-star Billie Eilish.
Right.
Like they start bonding, right? They start talking. He goes, I remember when I was coming up, and it is hard, and I appreciate that you understand that. And eventually we have director Darius Rucker, who is intent on calling this Wheels of Wagon Wheels of Fire. Nobody likes this idea. He's trying to impress Damon Wayans. There was a time where they called me nefarious. Rucker, and he's like, okay, buddy.
Okay, Grandpa.
They reach out to the cast, right? And they start to connect with a few of them, and they go, look, I can't say this, like my agent will fire me. I'll never get work in this town again. They decide to strike, but they Aunt Viv all of the characters. Like Darius Rucker just like edits them all out and puts in slightly different looking AI actors.
Oh, just like a real strike. Okay.
He replaces them with CGI. He goes, I can replace you.
AI.
Yeah, it's all AI, and it's all like they look kind of like them, but not really. The studio's getting some flack for this, so they just, what can we do that will piss off everybody involved in making this movie? Well, they just go and they just put like from the catering to the trailer, they get all the Palestinians and the guild to all show up at the same time, and they're all running at the set. They're all gonna tear it down, and they keep getting Aunt Viv'd as they come. And they all kick over all like the buildings and the lava or whatever they got going on for whatever scene this is, and they walk on the fake water. Wayans and Eilish are leading the charge, and they fall through this like hole in the set, and they land onto a different set that is like 60 minutes, and it's Barack Obama giving an interview, like an important interview. They show up, and Barack Obama shakes Damon Wayans' hand, and he says, "You've done really well," and he whispers something in his ear.
What does he say? What does he say?
But we can't hear it. It's implied.
Oh.
It's implied. It's real quiet. It's almost inaudible. So he's whispering in his ear, and it's like, they wouldn't let it in the final cut, so there was this personal moment between them, but we don't know what it is. We just know there's shit they wouldn't let him say.
That's awesome.
And so, and then he turns around and he goes, all right, call it up. We're good here. And he wins every Oscar. It's like he cuts to the award ceremony. He and Billie Eilish are just being showered with praise.
They're like,
they win the Oscar for best.
Darius Rucker.
All of them. They all win every award. Every critic is suddenly like that. And all they had to do was sell out the Palestinians. All of them, they're like in a jail cell. They're being hauled off in a paddy wagon. And they're at the Golden Globes. People are protesting, and it doesn't matter. They all get hauled out. And he's like, I'm winning all the awards. Every critic, even though this is the worst movie that has ever been made. Literally no one on the planet thinks it's a good movie. Well, you hate this movie, you're racist. They all get canceled. And Darius Rucker gets on stage to accept his best director, and he lights a wagon wheel of fire, almost burns the place down. For best producer, the old guy from the beginning comes up. He's in a wheelchair. He can barely walk. He's got like a sleeve in his throat.
I did it.
And then he gets up there and says, America is great.
I'm the ours nigger. I'm the ours nigger.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
All right, and with that one, we start our movie after the first one. The second one doesn't actually exist. We have Rick Moranis' character. Wayne is a failed yet successful inventor. In the first one, he goes to a convention and he shows off the invention that he has, and that is this shrink ray. They laugh at him. So anyway, he brings it up to his attic, and he's sitting up there, and he's like, I got this to work one time. I shrunk the kids. What was it that made it work? Always something so slight. He's like, the first time it was a baseball. The baseball hit it. and all of a sudden the fucking door slams. Boom! He's arrested by fucking secret agents of the American government. He's detained. He's brought back to some mysterious location on an island off of somewhere. While this is happening, his daughter is having her high school graduation party, but she's getting all of the kids from the high school to her house, where she's telling people, she's like, oh, crazy shit happens in my backyard. The night's going on and everything's going crazy, and the vibration from the fucking party, the disco party, right? It's a silent disco. My dad's invented these fucking headphones. We have a fucking Rage or whatever. They're having this fucking silent ass banger, and it sounds a lot like this. And as the disco ball drops, and as the vibration from the feet stomping on the ground, the laser hits the disco ball, scattering all over. They are fucking immediately shrunk. And they still have their headphones on, but what they don't know is that these headphones are actually communicators. They wake up and they're like, what the fuck? And they're in front of all these ants who are much bigger than them, and they are able to communicate with the ants, and the ants are able to communicate with them. The ants are like approaching them, and they're like, who are you? Like, explain yourself, or we're gonna kill you. Like, we know what humans do to the ant world. And they explain, they're like, no, we could do some shit. Like, even though we're like dumb college kids or college ready kids, but like, we could do some shit. One, they have to, but two, some of them, it's like, wait a second. So like, I could go out and I can do all this shit, and I bring all the food back, and we all get to enjoy it. That's not that bad of it. I'm okay with this.
All ships rise.
All ships rise. Well, fucking, I'll work for you. I'll work for you. And they're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, but like, there are some colonies that are fucking really aggressive towards the humans. The other ants are like, shit, finally it's fucking someone else, not us. It's all right. So we start to see, like, across the entire ant colony, that there are different theologies. All these influencers are out there talking to each other, whatever, going back to their respective queens. All of these ants are about to go to war, and they're all rushing headstrong into this one particular area, because that's where all the scents are leading them, right? Because ants do, they follow antiperspirants. And in that one area, we meet Nick Solinsky. He's mad cool because he's been here before. He knows all the ants. I think maybe a lot of the ants know him. There's a reason why the ants haven't fucking been at war for a long time. It's Nick who's been telling them what to do. He's the ant king. But Nick is recognizing that there is a tide to turn. You know, there is shit that is happening right now. Up there, I'm a no one. Down here, I'm everything. I'm pulling all of the strings. The only thing that can make sure that he stays in charge is more Antarchy. There's 6 different ant tribes coming together, and they don't know why they're coming together. You know, he's looking at all of them. He's like, I'm really glad that you're all here. And he looks at all the humans, like, I'm glad that you're here too. He's like, now this happens, and he fucking stabs the ant next to him, like, in the head. I've established that ants can't see, but because ants can't see, they all can smell what just happened, and they know.
They have this battle, right? They're all together. We've got the kids. They start creating factions kind of based on just their own, like, the anarchists, the Antifas. We got the antiperspirants, and they're using the sense. The ant war is hell, right? They bust open a trash barrel, creating, like, these rudimentary ant weapons. The neighbor there, his cigarettes he's not supposed to be smoking.
Yeah.
They're using those as torches. That's how they communicate to the flying ants to signal.
Yeah.
Signals.
This is very dramatic.
Like, some of them discover the shards of glass, and they use them like magnifiers to, like, melt the ants. It's just outright warfare. We had the machine. We had the thing that shrunk everybody in the first place. So the kids are leading the ants, right? It's become this war zone, this whole tiny battle. It's been happening in front of the yard. Nick he's leading one of the packs, right? So the kids are trying to lead. Ultimately, they're manipulating this centuries-long war between the ants, whatever their faction, because they're trying to be the ones to get back to the shrink ray machine. They're settling, like, adolescent beef with each other, and they're using the ants to do it. The feds are there, like the Men in Black type guys, like, but they're there and they're trying to, like, take control of this laser. They figure he'd lead them right to it. So they see the government coming, and the kids are like, I don't know who they are, but if they mess with the machine, we might never be big again. So they get the ants to form this alliance. They crawl up the wall. That's when the guy's like, I know the yellow crazy ant. yellow crazy ant, like over in this county, I know like just all of these hell bugs from all over the place, and they're like, yo, put out a signal. The ants that volunteer to be the scouts, their natural lifespans end before they get there, so they're passing this note on and on and on, and generation of ants die before it even gets to these ants.
Yes,
and on the way back,
absolutely.
That's what it takes.
It's like what Paul Revere dreamed his
like
legacy would be.
So at this point, like, they've forgotten what they're even fighting for. Their ancestors before them, their ancestors before them.
Ancestry.
What we know. So they climb up the thing, they get in, it knocks the baseball off the thing that was making it work. So now the machine goes back to blowing shit up like it was in the first movie.
Normal
before he
bullshit,
fixed it.
yep.
So it spins around, the laser blasts, and it just blows off all the CIA or MK Ultra dudes or whatever. The kids having ridden their ant like steeds to victory. They put the baseball back up and they unshrink themselves. And they go back to their normal life. Now that they're unshrunk, they're kind of like, all right, we're all back to that. Like, you know, you go back to your yard and...
But wouldn't they hit some of the ants too?
Well,
That's what happens. I have it planned too.
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. The ants are still ants, and they're just like regular ass ants, and they're just like, you know, we're gonna put some sugar out in the yard for you, but like, we don't give a fuck anymore, because they never really did. They just were using the ants, and it's out of revenge. The ants get a hold of it, and they are able to blow themselves all the way up.
But Nick is like, look, he's up in the basement by himself, and he just like turns the laser just a little bit because he knows where it's supposed to be pointing, and he's the one who raises the ants. He does it intentionally. But he's the ant king.
So he raises the ants, but the first thing the ants do is eat him.
You thought you were down with the original colonizers?
No, motherfucker, these are carnivorous creatures.
The Pantryarchy.
He thinks that he's being this fucking super villain, and the ants turn on him immediately.
I love that.
That
is hot.
And now we have fucking ants versus the American government. So like everyone's celebrating that they're fucking back.
All of a sudden, this house fucking explodes.
Control bracket, right?
Ants are there. They're like Godzilla ants, and they were just stomping through the city. It's a subtitle for one ant to his wife, honey, I think we blew up the ants. And that's the last line. And ants like just crush through the ceiling and start destroying the world.
We are doing the old school set. We're gonna have an actual televised, broadcasted, advertised celebrity death match, and this is the first one in 20 years, right? Elon Musk versus his AI chatbot Grrr, and the robot convinces Elon Musk to kill himself, and it happens, and the crowd's mortified, and there's fucking blood and viscera everywhere.
It's celebrity deathmatch. He reaches down his throat and he rips his own spine out of his...
And then we're getting ready for the second match, right? A bunch of fucking TikTok influencers and Twitch influencers and Kick influencers and YouTube influencers are all coming down. The four pillars of the internet, every corner of the arena, and they're like, all right, fam, hey chat, for 1,000 likes, I want to jump the barrier. For 4,000 galaxies, I'll do this, whatever. And they're all doing it kind of like zombies in like a World War Z type city. There's just so many of them. They're overwhelming, and the match is about to start, and you got our boy Diamond over here who's kind of freaking out. He's like, wait, what are they doing? We're doing security can't contain them anymore. We got Johnny. Johnny's like, whoa, what's happening here? Whatever. They're freaking out because the sanctity of the match, the sanctity of the arena is being destroyed. All these YouTubers are getting in the ring, and they're all just trying to get their 5 minutes of fame. And so we have Nick, who's like pulling off his tie, and he's like, what happened? What happened to media? What happened to us? And he's like, just shut it down. We see Nick, and he's just like kicking a can down the street. And so, you know, and he's having these flashes. He's like, who was in that ring down there? Who was one of the kids live streaming? It was his son, Nick Jr. And he's thinking to himself, I failed myself. I could have reached out more. Time goes on, and he's just trying to connect with his son, and he's resharing, he's retweeting all of his shit, right? And that's what gets him into some kind of trouble, because what he is retweeting is some hateful ass shit. Maybe it's a swastika, right? he's thinking that it's a Buddhist symbol. Yeah, he's experiencing, he's exploring religion. He's like, my son, he's an open-minded kid. He's just, he's troubled right now, whatever. And so this is what causes him to kind of start this downward spiral where his career has been flushed down the drain, his relationship with his kids being flushed down the drain, his public image is being flushed down the drain, and this is where like his breaking point happens. Right, so he's finally like, what was when I was the best? When was I the best? We have all these like vignettes, these mental flashbacks of like Marilyn Manson killing the Hanson brothers, right? You got the Spice Girls killing off the Backstreet Boys, right? And he's like, that's what we were the best. He's like, I need to get back to that.
Around this time when he's seeing what's going on and he's, he reposted whatever, but like he's disgusted by all these clowns in the ring with their phones and stuff like that. It's the definition of celebrity that's pissing him off, and he wants to have his own sanctioned celebrity death matches where to him real celebrities are fighting these like influencers and YouTubers and stuff that.
So there's a get off my lawn element to this.
Yeah. Sort of like, well, like let's even allow like even like celebrities that are like the Paris Hiltons and the Kardashians and people with. And he wants to arrange it so they fight to the death and kill me.
So here we go. So there's what happens. So Nick is so disgusted with the fact with the rising of all of these random ass micro celebrities, right? They're just a flash in the pan. So he goes and he reorganizes and he reorchestrates and he rebuilds the actual celebrity death match, and he invites all of these people that his son would know, right? And it's like, oh, it's him and I show Speed, but it's Nick going, no, we need to have him versus Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like, why? You wouldn't think those two match up, right? It's old versus new, but it also
it's a generational conflict now, not just
but
celebrity.
you think that it would be a fair fight. It's not. Nick's in control of all of this now, and he's the one pulling the levers that drop the fucking ceiling lights.
He's trying to make a point. Even outside of generational, though, like, even if, like, you have your, like, your Billie Eilish, your Olivia Rodrigo, those are real celebrities to him.
Yes.
And not Mr. Beast.
Exactly. And so that's exactly what it is. Mr. Beast is the final boss of the streamers. We're constantly doing this. We're going through this battle where Nick is pitting, internet streamers versus actual real world celebrities, and one by one, they're all of the streamers are just dying. He's killing them off. And then it comes down to Mr. Beast versus Nick. Maybe it's established early on like a Mortal Kombat ladder, and. And Nick Jr. shows up. He owns all of the Kalashi coin. And he knew it from like day one when he picked up on something about the Grrr versus Elon fight where he was like something about that was rigged.
Yeah,
he knew never to bet against his dad. No, wait, that's it. No, wait, this is a for real thing. I swear. Miss Rachel versus Mr. Beast. Miss Rachel is organically popular because of like YouTube,
and even children are kind of torn because like they don't even know if they think that is Mr. Beast deserve to be a celebrity or is Miss Rachel.
But also the parents are the millennials that are allowing their babies right to watch that, and the in-betweeners is the Mr. Beast generation.
You have some people that have already grown up with her. And now they're growing into like this life where you have your Mr. Beast. You just have like these like actual like strong feelings about something, and now like you're almost forced to choose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. One of them's gonna die.
I have to give people have to care about something.
But there's so like a perspective shift, like a cultural perspective shift, like what this means to people, what it means to. It's kind of perfect. Those two people.
We as the millennials have to pick and choose now, right? Do we keep Miss Rachel because we're allowing our children to watch it and she's a babe, or do we go like with like Do we try and like keep punk rock alive, but like go with Mr. Big against
it's
everything?
almost like an election in its own way.
For
right?
sure.
Like,
It's almost
it,
democracy.
dude, it is very much. You're talking about like making the moves in like
Twitch plays.
But you said the left and the right were even,
Yep.
and then the A was something like the A
Anarchy,
button was
yeah.
something
Yeah.
else, and total anarchy. I'm like, how poetic is that? That the left and right are split and then anarchy
Wins. Yep.
It does, because it really doesn't matter who wins and who dies. That's not the point.
the people trying to agree on like the commands and figure it out, but we don't see how it ends. It's almost there. Like people are hitting the buttons. The bell rings. Mr. Beast and Miss Rachel look at each other. Black.
Like that, what a fucking cliffhanger.
Like, what
that
do
was.
they choose? It is up to us what kind of a future we wind up living in. Yeah, we don't have to give people that answer because we don't know that
I mean,
answer
I'm
either.
sold, dude.
I'm fucking sold.
I'll buy that.
All right, so
Leps.
new Leprechaun. We're rebooting it, and surprise, it's a woman. Leprechaun. Siobhan, the
Siobhan.
Leprechaun.
SHIV.
Yeah.
We open with a young boy with who's stealing stuff because he's sticky fingers, right? Like, and he's trying to get the gold. He wants to know where the gold at, and he looks up in the tree, and there's a leprechaun, and the leprechaun looks at him. Sticky pulls out his pad and he tries to make a drawing of it, and it's the drawing. It's
put the
amateur
Put it on the screen.
He hears everybody asking, "Where the gold at? Where the gold at?" And
That's
the
where I
leprechaun
gotta
looks
go
at him and
at.
he says, "Like, trust yourself." And that's why he goes, "Oh, I got all the shit I'm investing right here." He grows up to be multi-billionaire Sticky Fingers.
I'm gonna uproot that tree. I'm gonna get a backhoe. He was one of those guys.
No, that's how he wakes up the leprechaun.
And she's bored. So what does she do? She looks up her old friends and she calls them all and she finds them in the yellow book and she gets them together and her girlfriends are like, girl, you gotta change your ways. You gotta change your life. All this murdering, all this gold, what did it ever get you? Nothing. Dead, washed up.
What do you got to show for
What
this
do you
shit?
got to show for
Set
this?
fire, push down a well, put into a vat of concrete,
not serving
shot with
you.
space lasers. That's what happens to all of them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's time for a change.
Her girlfriends from like college or whatever are like absolute like regular baddies, like dumb as dirt, but like humanoid like baddies who don't they don't see her as a leprechaun in any fashion. They're like,
Oh,
she
they're not
is.
leprechauns.
No,
No, they're
no,
just
no, no. I want them to be
regular ass, like-
regular
Yeah.
ass,
These are
hot
her
chicks
girls.
who just
Yes.
like don't. They see her for who she truly is.
The
or
leper
whatever.
squad.
It's time for her glow up. So she's thinking about it and she sees the TV and she sees this commercial for Sticky Fingers Onyx. And she's like, she sees the ring on him, she sees the Onyx, she's very intrigued and she's like, this is what I want. This is the change I'm making. I'm going for this. And so she's gonna get her groove back. Siobhan, the leprechaun, is gonna get her groove back. She's not gonna murder her way to the top. But old habits die hard. And it's not easy for old Siobhan. So she tells her girlfriend, she says, I'm gonna get this man, Sticky Fingers is for me, and I'm gonna go for it. And they're like, okay, he's the one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that ring. I'm gonna get that ring. She sees the old ring, the old Onyx ring, and that's, damn it, Rose, why was that important to her?
In her chat with her girlfriends, she realizes to turn over a new leaf. They start watching rom-coms, they start having girl time, and she sees the commercial with Onyx, where she imprints on him as the one. And then she thinks that, oh, I gotta get the ring. I'm a girl, that's my thing. I'm gonna go for it. I gotta get the ring. I can't be murdering people anymore.
Show him the ring.
It's a new time.
So that becomes her new purpose.
So she's gotta get a makeover. So we do the whole montage. She gets her new hair, she gets her new outfits, she gets the little bows, and her friends look and everything like that. And the retail guy is such an asshole to her, huge. And so she kills him. This is her first murder. And
We
it's
don't
an
serve your kind in here.
It's an oopsie, yeah. And it's
Yeah,
really
it's
like, no, you
yeah.
want him to die. Like you're.
Yeah, Irish girl.
Yeah.
Oh!
And she's like, I don't know, going to like fancy clubs and stuff and trying to meet him, and like maybe other bitches get in her way, and so she's got to kill them and stuff like that. But she finally meets him, and it goes pretty good.
She was originally looking for the Leprechaun. She was looking for what she thought true love was, and she sees Jeff Dunham, and he's puppeteering this Leprechaun, one of his new puppets, and so she sees him like pulling all these strings, and that's how she thinks. She's like, I want to be puppeteer, right? And so she thinks that the
Leprechaun got close to people with
So then she's like flirting with this puppet, and Jeff Dunham's like running his mouth, and then she finds out that like this isn't even a real thing, but she likes like all the other strings attached.
So they go out on a date.
But she has to kill him, though. Wasn't the Leprechaun she wanted. She realizes she wants the ring. If she wants the ring, this isn't it. She sees the guy on TV. She sees sticky fingers, and she wants that ring.
Okay. So it's a love story, and it all goes good until something goes wrong with them. Bitch, I don't want you no more. I don't want to see you. Yeah. She gets pregnant, and he doesn't call her back ever. He's like, Sticky, what? And
Sticky don't love no bitch.
Little Sticky is growing a son.
Sticky doesn't do shit.
So she's not like that. So she's gonna see him. So she goes the whole battle all the way up the mountain of a 10 times
the Onyx
tower. The Onyx Tower. Yes. And it's murderous and beautiful and gory, and all the gold goes flying everywhere. And finally, she gets to Sticky.
In the most tropey kind of way, she just rips his dick off.
Nice.
And that's where the Onyx ring is.
And she's got that extra pregnancy hormone, like fucking crazy going.
Oh!
Too. So she knows exactly where to grab, and she puts it right in her bedside fucking nightstand for later, and just goes on. Like, okay.
They're on the news talking about her. They seen her
up in the tree.
Uproot that tree. I just want to know where to go. Give me the gold. I want the gold. So we've got this show. It's a series of games, and it's called the Olympics, the Squidward games. And this is taking all of the 90s era, the golden age, the orange age of television.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They had these game shows that were show games. However, in this reboot, we are going to go back to the original VHS tapes that were mailed to Nickelodeon. Somebody's going to take them and digitalize them, whatever they're going to do, and get them to the casting department. The casting department will review all this old footage and try to put together certain groups of people. They're going to reach out to those people probably a lot more than they need.
They're going to find them on Facebook.
Yeah,
they all fucking
they
have
could probably even look. They could probably look some of these people up on Facebook and be like, "Oh, absolutely not. We just can't use."
They're like they're like searching for fucking Rad Rick. What was his name?
Rad Ryan.
Rad Ryan. They're like, hold on. Search for Rad Ryan on Facebook, and boom, there he is.
At Rad Ryan.
He's still doing it.
He's still
Rad
guy.
Ryan. These are the kids who didn't make it.
Oh yeah, they did not make it at all. If you've been on the show, you ain't gonna get a
DQ. Eat shit, nerd.
So if Nick's interested, they're gonna hit you up with this offer, and they're gonna want you to respond with a current video of yourself.
Who you are, what you're doing, where you've been. This is the only time that we want your life story, because it does not fucking matter.
100% not.
But this is how they're gonna develop the archetypes.
They're gonna get exactly. They're gonna cast their shows based on the archetypes they're looking for that are gonna work well together. But I just know how important that is. You don't have a show if you don't have the right people. The world, or at least America, loves reality TV. So you show where these people are living now. They talk about growing up, and they show pictures of them being 8 years old watching Nickelodeon with their family or whatever. Now they're doing stuff with their families, or not, man. They don't have families. It's not some in-depth follower, just like, this is who we are, and then you come to the show, and that's really about it. And probably the only thing you're going to see after that is any kind of like drama or love interest between characters or whatever. Besides that, you don't
confessional.
You don't,
They're talking heads, right?
Brad Ryan was dating me, and we was on and off.
He got a small ass little dick.
But like,
he had the Irish curse.
Rad Ryan, not bad, Ryan.
Small potatoes, that Rad Ryan.
Hey guys, I'm Rad Ryan. I gotta go out of this.
The rest of the show is simple. Every episode is one of the shows. You got your Double Dare, you got your Guts, you got the Legend of the Hidden Temple, all of these different things. And when you win the entire thing at the end, there's one winner. You win a glowing piece of the Radical Rock. You win a Huffy White Heat 16.
A Schwinn, baby. It's a Schwinn.
You win a trip to Mexico, because back then everybody was winning
dude,
trips
it's
to
right,
Mexico.
A gallon of gas.
Yeah, you win a lifetime supply of gas.
A shopping spree at Toys R Us.
You get to slime your mom or her gravestone.
You get to kick in Bam Margera's dad's door.
Yeah!
Phil.
You get to kick Phil in the nuts. You get to kiss Bill Bellamy.
Heyo. But the most importantly, it's like at the end of the season, you're the one who gets to hoist the fucking the piece of the aggro crag.
Yeah,
of the super mega aggro crag.
Coming out.
Right, because at the end of the day, the whole point is like we were the kids that yelled at the TV for the of like how incompetent these kids are. We're like, fucking put it together, do it, fucking run faster, don't go there. There's the temple guards, whatever. And you're on the fucking steps of knowledge. You're the one yelling at the TV, but here you are as the adult, and you actually get the opportunity to do those challenges, and it's now about do or die.
Yeah, definitely.
And the piece of the aggro crag.
That's it.
It's all an aggro crag or fucking go home.
It starts off, it's a PSA documentary about the old school PSAs that we all watched that realistically didn't really help us in the long run. Barack Obama's the narrator, and he's telling the story of the old school PSAs, mascots, focused on Gruff because he owns McGruff. We talked about the other Smokey the Bear, the Owl, all types
trees.
Of them. Yeah, they all
Even Tootsie
eventually
Roll makes an appearance.
Yeah, that owl died from lead poisoning, right? They all met ignoble fate. McGruff, he was the last standing, but he slowly saw the world slipping away from him, right? His nephew became a drill rapper.
McGurk, yeah, he's a SoundCloud rapper. But he kind of gets canceled and goes to jail as he calls his partner a bitch and tells her to put peanut butter on the doggy puss.
Or else he's gonna have her spayed. And McGruff is going down the school educational drug program to prison pipeline. He did 7 dog years in jail. He did 7 dog years in the state pound.
15, try 15 times 7.
Hard time in the state pound.
So he comes out, the world's upside down. We got the parrot, the pronoun parrot. What's it called?
Patty the pronoun
parrot.
And Connie the consent bear.
She's the head of HR.
Just everybody soft to him.
Quarantine quail.
Everybody soft to him.
Listen,
the other two
lock
made
in.
up. That one's real.
Oh, I didn't know.
Lock in. Everybody soft. He's pissed. He's back on the force. He's not agreeing with the way the world is.
He starts doing crack, right? He
Naturally.
Right, he's out in the street. He's like Jenny now. That's what happened to Jenny when she got kidnapped and didn't say no to drugs. But he's saying yes to drugs. And he's saying yes to all sorts of messed up shit.
So McGruff is just pissed, so he just goes back to the force, and instead of following his old morals, he goes off the deep end. He starts, doing drugs.
Up with Jenny.
Yeah, he ends up with Jenny. He's violent. It's just crazy. And there's, protests and stuff going on because the world's just also crazy. So yeah, there's a protest in Chicago. He's from Chicago.
McGruff, he shows up and he's drunk out of his mind. He's seeing double, and he shoots what he thinks are 2 black labs, but it turns out to only be 1. And
he sees a couple black labs with weapons, about to, be violent.
Some from the pound, some from the mill, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And he sees him, he's shit-faced, he's dog-faced, and he's about to...
Dog-faced gremlin.
Yeah, he's about to save the protesters from this black lab that's just about to, light up, the crowd.
McGruff, we're done with him, and he's a symbol of an old misbegotten time that Barack Obama's trying to pretend like he had no part of, and he's there saying, well, we gotta send this bad dog to jail.
So that's a big no-no. Obviously, he has to go back to court, so here we go again. As he's being tried, all of the peers that are part of the committee, all, you know, it zooms in on them and you see all the way it used to be and how impactful at least his PSAs were to them and the old way. And they, you know, they slightly turn a blind eye because, you know, they also disagree with the way the world is today because they hate the parrot, they hate the bear, they hate all. They love Smokey, they miss Smokey.
Smokey's chill.
Smokey was chill, and they turn a blind eye, and he gets away, and it causes a whole uproar. People's pissed because he gets somehow, you know, mowed down a black lab and gets away with it. So it's just the world's not having it, and right when you're gonna see what's gonna happen next, Black Lives Matter, Obama just kind of comes out of nowhere to promote his dog food chain. Yes, we canned dog food, you know?
Yeah. Yes, we canned
what
dog
do we
food.
call it? What do we call it?
It's Farrakhan.
Yes, we canned fresh.
Canned fresh. You know? And it was,
dude.
so it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about fighting crime. It's not about fighting the war on drugs. It's about working for the man, being spit out, and dog food.
There is a thing where like a dog comes up and he's got X's on both paws and he just looks at him. He just looks at him and he goes,
Dude, that's hard.
You know I love that.
We're under the ocean and we've got some ocean sounds. So we are from the Snorks' point of view looking up at this aura of a humanoid figure that has the sun backlighting him. So he actually kind of has that Catholic Jesus halo behind him, right? Looking down upon us, right? So then it cuts, then the camera right back to the ocean. It crashes right into the ocean, right? And we get a scene of a mom, and she's brushing her daughter's hair, and then the girl's like, "Mama, you know, I don't want to do this. Why are we doing this?" And she's like, "No, this is tradition, honey. It's how I met your dad and how we met whatever." And she's like, "Well, I don't want to." She's like, "Well, you know what happens if we don't?" She's like, "No, I don't." She's like, "Well, the last time this happened, our God, or whatever his name might be, raised the ocean temperature 10%. We lost a lot of our family that way." And it's a really sad thing, and you're like, you know, as you're watching this, you're like, what the fuck is happening here? Right? And so then we zoom out. And now we've got that bird eye view again, right? And then it zooms in, and now we're on land. We're on land, and we,
I love it.
You know, we're hearing some thuds. And you know, and we got a Smurf. We got a Smurf right here, and there's a father who's like doing his son's bow tie, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't even know what she looks like." He's like, "Son, you gotta do it."
I don't know how to swim, Dad.
Anyway.
Tighten your Kango, boy.
Yeah.
And again, this goes back tale as old as time. They don't know why. Well, they have an idea because they know that their God, which they both acknowledge is the same God, has the power to decimate the land and the water. So they're going to keep abiding by this because the last time they did it, the ocean water temperature rose, killing off a lot of them. The last time they did this, the sun got brighter and killed off some Smurfs.
And to each of them, that proved they were the chosen people. They're the ones who survived.
And they have never met anybody else. So why wouldn't this be true?
We see the Smurf walk to the shore, we see the Snork come up to the shore, and we see God Ortega introduce the two of them. And fade out.
Yeah.
Like implying they live happily ever after. We have a music score or something that tells us that this ends well for them.
Yep. And
then we do kind of a fade down under the sea. Now we meet our two current characters. Okay, so we meet Stefan Snorkel. And
he is Stefan
Snorkel.
No, it's legit. That's it.
His friends kind of look down on him because they think he's a little pretentious, that he has to say his name all fancy like that. But
he is.
He is a little bit. But because they bullied him kind of his whole life. He wanted to go into the military or the Navy service, but his older brother got to do that. And
Navy.
His older brother does that, but they kind of wish they could trade places. We get to see the dynamic of what it's like to be a teenager in Snork World, and that he has been chosen for this divine duty, right? Like everybody else gets to get married or whatever. No, he has to be a missionary. right? He has to be, this is like being a priest maybe to them, like this is the holiest and most divine of duties that you can be assigned. And everybody tells, it's like kind of like the giver, sort of. Like the job nobody wants, but everybody cherishes the person who has to do it kind of thing. We meet him and he's nervous, right? Because it used to be this normal tradition everybody felt good about, but there's rumblings of war breaking out between the Smurfs. They're at conflict. We see at first, just because we're in Snorkland first, we're seeing the way they understand what Nick's word is to them. Stefan Snorkel, and he goes, he lies down in his snork bed at night and he says, I wonder who my bride's gonna be. Maybe she'll be amazing. And we
he's thinking of Laura.
Yeah, and we flash over to Laura Smurf, waking up, going dreaming in her bed. And there for a moment we see them both in each other's dreams. She was like, I don't like this tradition. She's got a little punk rock in her.
Oh, I like that.
She never was down with this tradition. She always thought it was bullshit. But she's got a pink hat.
Like
She's
painted
a pink anarchy symbol. And she comes downstairs and are you finally ready to accept? She's been chosen. You've been chosen. It doesn't matter that you don't want to be chosen. This is the way the world works. The sooner you learn that, the better. And she comes downstairs though, feeling comforted by that dream, and she says, all right. We follow her for a minute about that's the life that we see of her, right? Like, and how she interacts with her fellow students. She's not bullied, but kids stay away from her because, like, they're scared of her or they think she's weird or whatever. So they're both alienated in their own societies, and this is going to be the character trait that they're both outsiders. So when they finally do meet, they at first, like for a minute there, they kind of resist each other because she's like, this is bullshit, but I saw you, and like later, but after, like, they're both pretty impressed by each other. They were both outsiders. They bond very quickly. Anyway, they go to sleep the night before the wedding. We suddenly, like you said, we zoom way back out, like to like a satellite of Earth level. We zoom back down, and it comes down into the basement of some random suburban house, and they're sitting around the table. There's a few kids, and one of them is God, or what we know to be God at this point in the movie. We see that in the chair, backlit by what starts as a halo, but comes into focus as what we know as a television screen. The shape of a face in silhouette comes into focus. A hand, perhaps, with a promise ring on it that we thought looked like a ring of a god before, but now just is a cheap, shitty piece of plastic. Yeah. So we see him in a basement with his other friends, and there's a sign on the door, maybe it says Club Nick, because they're all named Nick. And it turns out they've been calling him like Captain Ortega, but really his name is Nick Ortega III, and he is a student at Magnet
PS
Charter
115
for Accelerated Gifted Kids. They start talking about their science projects, and one of these Nicks, we recognize him from the extended reboot universe, and his name is he's Nick Jr. He's wearing a little lab coat, these dumb glasses. And he's talking about how he's been messing with the ants in his yard. So this is actually a prequel to Rise of the Pantryarchy. And so he hasn't yet gotten shrunk into it yet, but he's been messing with these ants forever. So we see that. Then we see other Nick Jr. he's sitting there and he's like, well, my dad is he runs this celebrity fight, like the richest, most famous people in the world. They come into my dad's ring and he makes them fight each other. That's how cool my dad is. So I'm like, so he's like, yeah. So he's like, my science project is gonna be about like how my dad gave me a bunch of like Z-list celebrities who didn't want to be on the main show. He gave me a celebrity deathmatch of my own.
You should put your ants on my TV show.
And everybody's looking at him like, fuck, you're fucking, of course your rich dad lets you do that. And then they look over to Nick Ortega and he's like, you know what? You guys don't deserve this yet. You're going to have to wait and see it at my presentation. Then we go back to the wedding morning. Nick wakes up late. His alarm clock doesn't go off. He's late for school. He's supposed to go to the science fair. This is the last day. And he was supposed to go down the pond. He had to get up early to go take care of this, but he fucks up. Like, he sleeps in. Stefan Snorkel and Laura Smurf, they are getting married. The Smurfs are mocking him.
Oh, I was going.
They're mocking him, and because like turns out this is a ritual. Like they don't like this. Like Snork, they thought this was gonna be like happy, and this was all about peace. No. Like there turns out the Smurfs and the Snorks are pretty mean to the other. So he says, "You're not that much different from me. See, like she's her own person. She stands up for. She's her own Smurf. She stands up for herself. She's not like the rest of you." And he pulls her hat off, and she has a snorkel. And everybody looks around. They're like, oh, "She's one of them." And then one of them pulls off his hat, and goes, and they realize they're all the same, right? And they realize they've been lied to. But now that we know this, what do? Usually, God comes for you, and he brings you into heaven. And they're like, "What? What? God is ascending? God who told us we were different? Right now? And like, where have all our..." But then somebody's like, "My daughter got sent."
Yeah.
I've never met her. And they just figure out really quick that none of the people they sent to these marriages have ever been seen for more than a minute. There was a wedding and they were ascended into heaven. So Nick comes running in. Because he's late, they realize this and they say, if we're the same, we probably have a lot of the same things in common. They talk, and of course, because the time frame of the Snorks is like tiny compared to Nick's time frame, they basically have like 7 years to prepare for this battle. So how do we take down a thing this large? And so they start combining all of their resources as a society. They're small but mighty. He's enormous, but together, our Snorkels go to the sun. And so Nick comes back. He's still trying to wake up, rubbing his eyes. He's running along the little rocks to the pond. He trips. Like he tries to save his terrarium he's gonna put them in, but he breaks his glasses.
Dang.
Like, shit, where are you? And he puts the terrarium down, and it has all the other Snorks and Smurfs that had disappeared, and they see their sons and daughters in that terrarium, and they're like, and they come after him, and so he can't see shit. So they just start. So he's in the ground looking for his glasses, which is how they get him down on the ground. And they get him in the right position, and they wrap the things and the seaweed and the netting around the rocks along the pebbles of the pond, and they tie him up on this thing, and they put him, they ship him out to sea, and they're like, they all have pulled the terrarium over. All of their sons and daughters return to them. They reunite with their families. Where's your project? It's like, I swear it was here. There's these whole
They should all laugh at him for wetting his pants.
Oh,
like,
yeah. They're like,
yeah.
They're like, were you making this whole thing up? Like, I just had Leonardo DiCaprio murder I Show Speed. Like, what did you do? You think you're gonna get an A on this? Like, the fuck? And everybody laughs at him, and the girl throws his promise ring in his face.
Damn.
Tells him to go fuck himself. And the Smurfs and the Snorkels, they we flash to the future, and they're all old now, and they're all sitting around remembering their memories. And peacefully, they all hold hands and they say, well, God or no God, we were all in this together. We were born together, we fought together, we died together, and it was 2 weeks the whole time.
Yeah, the whole entire thing.
But they've evolved.
The Snorks of old.
They have evolved.
They're the storytellers. They're the tradition.
The survivors.
The survivors, right?
They are the survivors of Hamden Ponds.
That's it.
She's like,
and the funny thing in the end is the fact that the Snorks, the Smurfs, they really were the same cartoon the whole time.
The whole goddamn time.